Hey, welcome into Foxborough Rush. If you love this show, make sure you check out Hold My Banner, available on Nessun as well. We are walking you through the Celtics playoff run in their quest for Banner 19. Check it out. Hold My Banner can be found on Spotify, Apple, Amazon, and wherever else you get all your podcast needs.
What's up? What's happening? George Balekji, Travis Thomas. T, how we doing today?
I'm doing great, man. How about yourself?
Doing wonderful. Doing wonderful.
I would like to address a couple haters. So, Nessun put out you and I's debate. Well, it wasn't a debate. It was more like a grade and a report card for the draft.
We're starting a little
right?
early mailbag. I like it.
Yeah,
Go
and
ahead.
listen, they went after me in the comments, George.
Yeah.
They went after me because I was very disrespectful to kickers and long snappers. Yes. So I would like to take the top of this show here to apologize to absolutely no one.
Knew it.
Because kickers aren't real football players. No one ever questioned the importance of the kickers. I noticed in the comments, it was very like, well, if you're down and you need a game winner, and no one's questioning how important they are. And you know what? They should hit that kick. You know why? Because that's your job. All you do is kick. You don't tackle. You don't catch. You don't throw. You're not a real football player.
Yep.
You're a kicker.
Yep.
So I'd like to apologize to no one. Thank you. Other than that, I'm great.
I love it. I think you're wrong.
I know.
And I think I was looking for more of an apology for you saying you hate the Kyle Williams pick. But you came around.
Yeah, I did.
And you like it now.
Yeah.
See, there's parts. Guys, we're working on them.
Well,
For everyone that comments on our videos, I love you guys. When you call me an idiot, when you call Trav an idiot, you know, we're cavemen, essentially.
That's right.
But we know football, and we like to talk it.
That's right.
Like even my guy, Stephen Black, 3647. Travis, your grade on the kicker is ignorant. He was a second kicker picked on a run of kickers. As for long snapper, you knew Cardona's days were numbered. The Pats were ahead of those picks when the run-on players started, all except the Woodson pick, which is still a damn good selection. Woodson pick, we liked it. Didn't love it in the spot, but I see the vision.
Yes.
Cardona's days were numbered. Yeah. But you had him under contract.
Right.
Like, there's no reason to cut him now.
Yes.
And we'll get into that when talking with leadership.
Yes.
Your grade on the kicker is ignorant. Is Steven wrong? No. Is Travis wrong? No.
Is Travis ignorant? Yes.
I love you, T.
Hey, at least I own it.
I love you, bro.
At least I own it.
You have your opinion on kickers.
Yeah.
And you know what?
Which is the right opinion.
There's certain debates in life it's just not worth getting into. Taylor ham, pork roll, mozzarella sticks, cheese curds.
Facts.
Left or right, talking red or blue.
Yeah.
Kickers are important or not. You know, there's just, you got your ways, right?
That's right. That's right.
As someone that said yesterday, Phil Rivers is trash, I'll own that. Sometimes
say that.
I'll voluntarily be ignorant.
Everyone went after you, too.
Yep.
It's usually me on an island. You were on an island after that Phillip Rivers comment.
And that island's nice, quiet, peaceful.
Yeah.
You know where it is? It's in the summertime.
Yes.
I will never allow a quarterback that with the short arms of football.
Why do you do that, bro? Why?
That's how he throws.
You had to give him the chicken wing. He had a full-blown
Him and Will
sidearm.
Campbell.
You're giving him a chicken wing. You're being disrespectful. And then Will Campbell, really? Come on, man. I started the show going at people. Now you're just taking it to a whole nother level. I mean, someone's got to just stay the straight and narrow here.
Will Campbell's going to be great. And we'll get into that with Super Bowl champion, left tackle, out of Louisiana, Andrew Whitworth.
Nice.
That's right. He caught up with Sean McGuire. Check out the full conversation on YouTube after this episode. We'll also be talking Drake Maye and his presser, and we got a mailbag for you guys later in the show, aside from our early mailbag. And Trav apologizing to absolutely no one. Let's start with Drake Maye.
All right.
Speaking, QB1.
Love it.
We all know it. The leader, the building block, the foundation. Also, with the new offensive coordinator, his second in as many seasons in the NFL, his fourth in the last 4 years, going back to UNC, Josh McDaniels.
Yep.
Here's what Drake Maye had to say, working with the legendary offensive coordinator.
I think, just translating the language, I think a lot of the NFL is the same type of concept or same run game, just, how they call it, how the verbiage, get rid of what we called it last year and kind of install, especially teaching these other guys. And, we try to stay ahead of the quarterback, so just teaching them, the right verbiage and not try to revert back to, hey, we used to call it this, now we call it this. Just try to kind of switch the lingo completely and just kind of, revert to the new way and kind of don't speak in the past. Coach has been great with, asking about stuff I like, stuff I like from last year that we ran, stuff that I like that they do or that I've seen on film. I think it'll be think it'd be good for us because we'll be able to do a lot. I think it'll be challenging to find out exactly what is going to be kind of our stuff. And I think that's the fun part of it. That's kind of the chess match against defense coordinators that you want to find. But Coach is great about finding matchups and kind of exploiting defenses when you may know what to expect. So I think I'm just looking forward to starting the game plan. I know it's far away, but I think you kind of get the itch now.
So I love he talks about pointing out the language. That's the first step. And that's what everything starts with the offense. And that's Josh McDaniels and Drake Maye getting on the same page.
Right.
Drake Maye talks about that. I mean, I just love that he gets into the weeds of it. Like, oh, Josh is great. He's so innovative. He doesn't talk about any of that. And he doesn't give us the BS, like just, standard bone cut, dry answer. He goes,
sure.
Yeah, first thing's the language. And like that shows a step-by-step how locked in Drake Maye and Josh McDaniels are. When Josh McDaniels spoke back on April 3rd, he was asked about tweaking the quarterback at all for Drake Maye. He brought up the language himself. And what Josh McDaniels pointed out with having a coaching staff that's learning the system along with the players helps me, Josh McDaniels speaking about himself there, because they can come to me and go, hey, let's use this language instead of that. It makes more sense.
It does.
So quarterback one,
yep.
OC, lock and step, same page T.
Okay, so I agree with everything you said. So let's get down to the brass tacks. What do we want to see? Because I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to take you back down memory lane. You'll remember this clearly because I think you agreed with me at that time. When we went from Jacoby Brissett to Drake Maye, I remember vividly saying, George, finally, not only are we going to get Drake Maye, but now we can see, and I kept using this word, creativity in the play calling. Alex Van Pelt, can I, as a Drake Maye fan going back to UNC, which I saw him do, can I get some design quarterback runs? Now, to be fair, at UNC, most of the time, his offensive line was so putrid, he was running for his life.
Yeah.
But I saw athleticism enough. I saw the kid slide enough and protect himself where I'm like, oh, there's a wrinkle on the NFL level. You can design runs for this guy. I'm not saying he's Lamar Jackson. I never accused him of that. But I said he's athletic enough. You can design runs for Drake Maye. I'm just throwing this out.
Yeah.
3rd and 4. Let's be creative. Instead of handing it to a back or play action and a slant, how about we get a little bootleg action? We get him on the move, and he has the option to run or pass. We never saw it because Alex Van Pelt was dumb, right? Now we have a real offensive coordinator. And when I hear Drake Maye say things like this, I'm like, okay, I may actually, I don't know, call me crazy, get what I want to see.
Yeah.
I want to see more athleticism from Drake Maye. I know we're all talking pocket and verbiage and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Josh McDaniels is going to utilize that God-given athletic ability that this kid has.
Yeah. I see what you're saying with that, and he will. And I like what you bring up of saying, I want to see athleticism, but it actually used the right way.
Yes.
And that's why I was excited when they brought in Riley Larkin, who was in the quarterback room at Ohio State with Chip Kelly.
Yep.
Because watching that national championship game, everything Will Howard was doing, not as talented as Drake Maye in any facet of the game. IQ, arm strength, athleticism. Drake Maye light.
Yep.
The sprint outs, moving the pocket, RPOs, everything he was doing to bring out the most and maximize the potential and maximize the game of Drake Maye. That's what I want with Josh McDaniels, and he's going to do that. He's adapted, man. Tom Brady, Matt Castle, Jacoby Brissett, Jimmy Garoppolo. Those are the guys that have played for him here.
That's right.
All the quarterbacks he's dealt with when he's gone to Denver and when he's gone to Oakland. He's still found ways to make Devontae Adams a 1,000-yard receiver despite everything and all the issues they had.
Yes, he did.
And what I'm excited with, Alex Van Pelt, again, he's not a Michelin 5-star chef. But you go to a good establishment in the North End, like, you're going to get a good chef. That's the equivalent of Alex Van Pelt. He could be a suitable offensive coordinator. He can get the job done when you do the, hey, where can I walk in and get dinner in the North End? Listen to me here.
You're being nice.
Listen. He's suitable for that. But he still has to have the right ingredients. You know what the Michelin 5-star chefs do? The guys that are farm to table out in, like, Palma and Mallorca, those guys that'll never be really like on the cusp at the pinnacle, but they could cook the F out of anything.
Yeah.
You give them anything, like those food channel challenges. You give them some heavy cream, beets, and a steak, and he's going to give you the best damn meal you ever had in your life.
Yeah.
Now with these ingredients, along with Josh McDaniels, you have that Michelin 5-star chef, and you have the proper ingredients to get started. And I'm talking about a Kyle Williams, a receiver that can actually take the top off of defense, be a good vertical threat down the middle. Stephon Diggs that can be a man beater in the slot or on the outside and is smart against zone. Pop Douglas is Pop Douglas. Josh McDaniels will know how to get him the ball in space and use him properly. He's not going to be 40, 50 yards down the field. That's not Pop's game.
Travion Henderson.
To intermediates.
Ramondre,
Bingo. So what does Josh McDaniels love? Screens. He loves play action. He loves running the ball. You have your early down back in Ramondre Stevenson.
That's right.
And you have your spell back in Travion Henderson, who's a home run hitter.
That's right.
And when we talked about the Travion Henderson pick, we see the upside. That's the best pass-catching third down back Josh McDaniels has ever worked with. You give him these tools, we are going to see it maximized. It'll still be run first. It will still be play action.
Yes.
We may see a fullback. We don't know. But when you need to open things up and you need to adapt week to week and continue to grow with Drake Maye, that's where this offense is going to maximize them. I'm excited for starting with the Drake Maye usage, but the people here, man, and it was the worst offense in the league, so you can only get better. Right off the bat, though, they've upgraded everything, every room on this offense. Hey, if you're enjoying the show, you can make sure to catch new episodes of Foxborough Rush dropping 3 days a week every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Hear from NFL draft experts like ESPN's Matt Miller and NFL.com's Eric Edholm and about all the latest news surrounding the Patriots as we're working through the offseason. It's available on Amazon, Apple, Spotify, Twitch, YouTube, and wherever else you get your podcasts.
I completely agree with you, and I thought your analogy was really good for cooks and chefs. However, I can't disagree with you more about AVP. I mean, you gave that guy so much credit. He is on the line at Raising Cane's. Okay, that's what kind of cook he is. And
guys
it's nothing
cook,
against
man.
that, but that's what AVP
Guys
is.
can cook at Raising Cane's.
Right. That's what I'm saying. No disrespect.
Okay.
But it ain't what you gave him. It ain't what you gave him. He is on the line. Fries, chicken fingers, check.
It all starts before the snap. It all starts before the order even comes in.
Right.
Here's Drake Maye talking about pre-snap responsibility in Josh McDaniels' offense.
I think the ball's in my hands. I think you want that. I think I hold the pin last. That's what they say, and I think that's what you want because I got the best view back there. Me, maybe the running back, especially in the gun, but even under center, you got the best view of the defense, and you're the ones that have to know where everybody's at, know really what everybody's doing, or at some point, not exactly maybe the technique exactly up front, but you got a good idea of what they're supposed to do. I think it's great for me to hold the pin last, like I said, and if I may see a weak safety coming and the center may not be able to see that, or the coach may not be able to see it from the sideline, little things like that. I think it'd be great for me to take that next step and taking command of sending the guys up front where to go and who to block. So I'm looking forward to it.
Hey man, that's a lot on his plate.
Yeah,
but he can make the adjustments at the line. I think his post snap reads and all the IQ he flashed in his rookie season, that's what gives me confidence. And that's what it's all about. You need the quarterback to go up to the line and make the calls, make decisions. Drake Maye did that at the UNC level too, so this isn't anything that's completely new to be on his plate. It's the growth. And to be a great quarterback, Drake Maye's mentioned in conversations of this kid is top 5 good. And it's not top 5 good when Mahomes, Allen, Lamar are gone.
Right.
It is he will be top 5 good when those guys are still in the league because they ain't going anywhere. They're young.
Yeah, I think you're not giving yourself enough credit here, though, and it's because you're humble, so I'm going to do it. I remember once upon a time we argued till the cows came home about when Drake Maye should start. And your whole point was not only is this offensive line not good enough to start this kid early, but even though you gave him some credit at UNC in terms of reading defenses and making calls at the line, you did say he needs more nuance. He needs to refine footwork. He needs to make sure he's ready to get up to the line and make these calls.
Yeah.
Where I give you credit is they went to Drake Maye much sooner than you thought. I ended up being right in terms of the timeline.
Yeah.
However, when you watched him play, you walked away from it and said, this offensive line is still a problem. I have concerns. But, and you gave him credit where it was due.
Yeah.
I love the kid's processing. I think he's doing a really good job at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
I think the footwork is refined. I do see nuance now in his game very quickly, and you recognize that. So now that you have a Josh McDaniels, and you're hearing quotes like this from Drake Maye, I mean, my God, I can't wait. And listen, let's not forget the GOAT in all of this, Tom Brady. Now, Tom Brady and McDaniels are brothers, essentially, and we know Tom Brady is in close proximity and has a good relationship with Drake Maye already. So now, I mean, this is this is perfect. This is a perfect storm. You have a Tom Brady, a Josh McDaniels who love each other. Enter Drake Maye that they're just going to pour all their information into so he can be successful now. These are all-time. Josh McDaniels, an all-time offensive mind. Tom Brady, the all-time greatest football player ever, that are in Drake Maye's proximity, in his ecosystem. Advantage Patriots.
You know what I love and I think about, and that's pulling on, that's when history matters.
Yes.
We'll be talking leadership. When Mike Vrabel cut Joe Cardona, that was the last from a Super Bowl winning time and stretch in New England Patriots that were on the roster. He's saying history be damned, man. Doesn't matter what we did in the past. Having a long snapper that won a Super Bowl isn't going to help you guys win games.
Yeah.
And you can't look back and go, but he was there and they got... No, that's done. They haven't won a Lombardi trophy since the 2018-2019 season. But what I love with this is that this is when the history matters of a franchise. And I think back to Celtic City, where there's shots of Paul Pierce, drafted by the Celtics, coming up, sitting off to the side in practice, talking to Bill Russell. Then they go to Jaylen Brown when he's drafted, sitting on the side of practice, taking a break, talking to Paul Pierce.
Yep.
That's when history matters. Now it's Drake Maye tapping into Josh McDaniels. Because you don't just fall into 6 Super Bowls. You have the greatest head coach of all time. He's not in a great standing with ownership. But the offensive coordinator that helped him put together those offenses is the greatest quarterback of all time, the greatest NFL player of all time. Is in good standing with the franchise now. And he'll be talking to your rookie quarterback. That's when the history matters. So they're the mentors you need, but there's that base foundation. And the foundation of the house that is Drake Maye is rock solid. Everything about it. You walk through it, you go, oh, it's not just the bones are great. It's flawless. We got to make some tweaks. We got to brush up some edges, repaint some walls, but it's there. We don't got to do a complete overhaul. It's everything you want. That's what he is. But you're getting those expert contractors, those expert workers, the people that know what the F they're doing in the area of expertise.
That's right.
They're going to pour into them.
That's right.
Now, where they need a lot of expertise going, wide receiver room.
Oh, God.
Here's Drake Maye talking about Jalen Polk and Javon Baker.
Yeah, I think those guys that came in with me, they were drafted with me, and we took it upon ourselves as rookies to hopefully kind of set a good standard. And I think I've seen from them is just kind of learning a new offense. I think they're ahead of where they were, when we were in the first couple of weeks last year learning the new offense. So I think they kind of have caught the stride of, hey, I got to, be on my stuff, be in the right spot, know what to do. And that's just, half of it, making the plays, the next part. So I think you definitely, seeing kind of a get up from them and looking forward to, getting them into camp and seeing what they could do.
I'm not.
Don't
giving
be
him a
nice.
chance.
Don't be nice. You're so nice.
I'm patient. To an extent.
Okay. All right.
But Javon Baker, end of the day, was a 6th round pick.
Yeah.
You got little room for error.
Yeah.
And now how this receiving room is built.
Yeah.
Because Kyle Williams comes in and I'm looking at Javon Baker, I'm looking at Kayshon Boutte.
That's right.
I'm going, that's your job.
That's right.
That's your role. Kayshon Boutte was fine. I mean, he was a down the field receiver, wasn't fantastic. He was the best basketball player on a bad team. He's that Cam Johnson on the Nets.
He showed up.
He showed up and he's going to score. He's going to score 30 because no one else can score, and eventually the ball has to go in the bucket. Kayshon Boutte showed up and he caught it and he got downfield because no one else could get open and get separation aside from him and Pop and the tight ends, right? But talking about the growth of those guys, that's a leader in Drake Maye, where he's not giving up on those guys and he shouldn't. Jalen Polk has that decent foundation, smart against zone, is a smart route runner, not crazy athletic, good hands. He was in his own head. It did not make sense what I was seeing from the guy that played at Washington to the guy who's with the Patriots. Now, there are the reports. I mean, he was just a knucklehead. That's putting it nicely. But he was there was an ego and thinking he was above the coaching. As for Javon Baker, he couldn't even be active on Sundays. So Vrabel said, well, Javon and I, we're in good combos. He's cool. That's the one who's back up with the action. My focus is always on Jalen Polk. That's the one that if you can salvage Jalen Polk and he could be good, he could play significant snaps for you, that's a win. Javon Baker, Kyle Williams, that's it. Kyle Williams, step in, put all your investment of time and coaching into him. I'm over on Javon Baker. I don't expect much from him. I expect Jalen Polk to make an impact. You can salvage him.
You're such a nice guy, dog. I mean, listen, Drake Maye said everything right in that soundbite, okay? That's what he's supposed to say. And I hope those young receivers are working with him. And I hope both of those young receivers have a bright future. But based off of what we just watched, I have zero faith. You have faith in Polk. I have zero faith in either one of them. Jalen Polk, 12 catches, 87 yards, and 2 touchdowns for the season. Come on, dog. That's a half for a really high-end, not even great, a high-end wide receiver. A serviceable wide receiver in this league could do that in a half. You gave me that in a season. I don't have faith in you. Baker, 1 catch, 4 yards, didn't even play half the G-damn time.
Yeah, he couldn't even be active on game days.
Family program, no touchdowns. He was all rookie team in broken promises, though. All that jibber-jabber he talked coming in here. So I don't want to hear it. Drake Maye said the right thing here. But these 2 wide receivers, and I'm trying to keep this clean, keep your mouth shut this offseason and just go to work with this kid. And you better hope like hell in this wide receiver room that is crowded and murky at best, you can figure out how to get on the field. Because I have zero faith in either.
I just like what Drake Maye said of, I think they know I got to be on my stuff, be in the right spot, know what to do, and that's just half of it.
He said everything right, George.
Making plays is the next part. Where those guys, you know what, they got humbled their rookie year. They got humbled. They got benched. They got humbled.
Yeah.
And they realized, and it was in college, and it happens all the time, you can just show up and play. Especially when Javon Baker went Alabama to UCF.
Yes.
Jalen Polk was Washington, and he was in a sick offense,
right,
featuring Rome Odunze and Michael Penix, and I'm blanking on the third receiver there. But that was one of, hey, go where you got to go. Show up and play. That team was stacked. That offense is unreal.
That's right.
In the NFL, everyone's stacked. Everyone's unreal. You can't just show up. So that's second part that jumps out to me of Drake Maye, and that's step one. Mm-hmm. Where I don't think he would say this if he didn't believe in it. Now it's saying, all right, get to step 2. Get to step 3, get to step 4. That's showing up, doing the right thing, putting in the work. Then from there, it's making plays. Hey, if you're enjoying the show, you can make sure to catch new episodes of Foxborough Rush dropping 3 days a week, every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Hear from NFL draft experts like ESPN's Matt Miller and NFL.com's Eric Edholm, and about all the latest news surrounding the Patriots as we're working through the offseason. It's available on Amazon, Apple, Spotify, Twitch, YouTube, and wherever else you get your podcasts. I think we got to work into the Rush promos too, where you get no apologies from Travis Thomas.
None. Well, the thing is, I've noticed this about us when we first became friends. You're very tactical in, you're careful what you say and how you say it and about who you say it by. You will tell it like it is, but I just think you use tact. Me, I don't care. I don't care what anyone thinks about me. I'm letting it fly. And so when I hear Drake Maye talk about these 2 guys who came in here with all this hype and neither one of them did anything,
yes,
he's asked a specific question. He should answer it, and he handled it right.
Perfect.
But in reality, if I'm those 2 dudes sitting at home hearing that soundbite, I'm like, I got to get my shack together because I did nothing in my rookie season at all. And at least in Baker's case, he talked a big game, didn't he? Mm-hmm. And he didn't back anything up. Mm-hmm. So if I'm them, I have a Patriots hat pulled over my eyes, and I still have my head down. And you know what I'm looking at? The playbook. And I'm running into light poles because I can't see what's in front of me because I'm studying my playbook, and I don't want anyone to see my face because I didn't do anything.
Yeah. You know what it is? Like, your shot of whiskey. I used to be that shot of tequila, you know? Like, it was a good thing you and I weren't friends when we were in our 20s, early 20s.
It would have been a
you and I
problem.
in bars. And it was. I used to be that guy at a bar of, I would stir the pot.
Yeah.
Now I'm the one of, if something happens with my friend group.
Yes.
Yeah, it used to be no matter what. Now I don't get involved. Instead of going to stir the pot, it's, hey, let's relax.
Yes.
You walk to your end of the bar. We're going to be here. We're going to be all good.
That's right.
That is
you.
That's called growth.
That's well said.
But
that is you.
If I got to step up, Belta, we'll do it.
You're a Hall of Famer. Let's not get it twisted.
Javon, you guys go to that end. You put in your work. I'm going to go over here. I'm going to host my shows. Mm-hmm. Let's give it 8 weeks, and we'll revisit, okay?
Fair. I think that's fair.
You do your work. I'll do mine.
And by the way, I'll give props if it's due in 8 weeks.
Yeah.
I just have zero faith.
I'm with you. 1,000%. Tape don't lie.
That's right.
CBS released all 22. Okay, let's talk Will Campbell. Andrew Whitworth caught up with our guy, Sean McGuire. Awesome get by him. It was a great convo. Andrew Whitworth, awesome dude. And he's from Louisiana. Went to a rival high school, Will Campbell's. They are friends. He knows him. He's a mentor to him. Mm-hmm. Here is what Andrew Whitworth had to say on who Will Campbell is.
You know, when you talk about where a guy gets selected and who they are, right? I think it means a lot. And so I think sometimes when teams are picking guys, I'm not saying it's your priority and why you pick a guy, but maybe when you're thinking of between guys or who we're trying to select, where are they going to thrive and what's the environment, maybe the city, and like who are we as an organization in a city, and is that really their element? Is that who they're going to be? Because it's not that they couldn't make it in different scenarios, but maybe they thrive in certain ones. And so when you look at Gillette and you look at that setup in Foxborough, like that is Monroe and West Monroe, Louisiana on a much bigger scale. I mean, listen, I don't want to say it because Will's going to get offended. He played at Neville, which is, used to be a longtime rival of West Monroe, but West Monroe High School, I mean, the colors, the environment, the setting in the middle of a community, the way it was. I mean, that is really what the Patriots are in that environment. And so that sense of pride and that element that he's going to be in is going to remind him a lot of playing in North Louisiana and the environment he had in there. And then as an LSU Tiger, the pride that people all across the South of Louisiana and North Louisiana have in LSU Tigers and bleeding purple and gold. That's the element he's walking into in New England. And so I think that is going to be something that's going to make him thrive, is that is the feeling that he loves and he's been around and it's natural to him. And then you bring up the name, and he said it in Matt Light. Like, you look at a guy like Matt Light, who was really successful there, and that's who he is. Like a good old boy, likes to have a good time and hunt and fish and do everything else. You know what? And guess what? Matt Light wasn't the biggest guy in the world, and he didn't have the longest arms in the world, and all this type stuff that you heard about Will coming out. It was very similar, man. So it's a similar situation, and I hope Will. Listen, Will's going to thrive, man. All he cares about is being successful, playing good football, and being a great teammate. And when you walk in the NFL and you got the talent and that's what you're made of, you're going to have success.
Man, I mean, that says it, and that's a lot you'll get with the character of Will Campbell.
Yeah.
But I love what he points out is basically the stage he was playing on. Yep. I mean, go back to Will Campbell protected Jaden Daniels. And in that, they opened up the season against number 8 Florida State. That was one of the best college football games, even though it was lopsided and a loss. But think of a guy that was part of a team that's walking into Mississippi State or Oxford to take on Ole Miss, hosting Arkansas, hosting Auburn, on the road at Alabama, top 10 matchup, right?
Yep.
That's what matters when you get to these big school guys.
Yeah.
And there's schools, and I think we'll see less and less of it, of the small school guys get drafted, but in a way of teams aren't messing around. Because the guys that were small school guys are now at the big schools, right?
That's right.
Hello, like Jaden Higgins, Eastern Kentucky to Iowa State. Mike Green was in Marshall. He could have played up, right? But he wanted to stay at Marshall and stick there.
Yeah.
But that's what matters in a way of the lights aren't too bright. And it's unique in a way that Whitworth points out of how similar in a way Foxborough is to where you're playing in college. I make the jokes about it, but at the same time, like when you're in Foxborough, that's all there is out there. You're not in Boston. You're not in downtown. You're not in the big city. Just like college towns, you got to drive 2 hours from the nearest airport to get to those stadiums in the SEC, and you're amazed at what they have. But everyone lives and breathes on LSU football. Down there and here in New England, everyone lives and dies by Patriots football. Yeah. Will Campbell is accustomed to the pressure, and it matches up with Mike Vrabel said, hey, if we take a guy at 4, there's going to be pressure. We need someone that can handle that. Will Campbell can handle that. He's no stranger to the big lights and the big moments and the big pressure.
Well, I think you said it. He's just about ball, right? And we know he's also a good soldier in a sense of, I'm being brought in to play left tackle. Maybe it goes great. Maybe I struggle a bit.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm just okay, and I'm a stopgap until they bring in a more natural fit at left tackle, and I move to guard. Mm-hmm. I don't think he cares. He's a good. That's why I say good soldier. I think Will Campbell's going to roll with whatever helps the team win. And by the way, you made a good point too when you said he protected Jaden Daniels. He has spoken about this. Like, you don't mess with my quarterbacks. I will bleep you up. Like, that's his mentality. That's fantastic. That's exactly what you want, whether you're a tackle or a guard. If you're a starting offensive lineman for a long time in this league, which is what Witt tells you this kid will be, based off talent and that mentality, that's the mentality, brother. That's what you got to have, and he has it. This kid's going to be a stud. I can't wait to watch him play. And I hate watching offensive linemen play. If I know your name as an offensive lineman, it's because you're screwing up. It's because guys are getting by you or you're jumping off sides too much. But in Campbell's case, I think we're going to know him from solid play, not from messing up.
I got to think this out. If Will Campbell's all pro by year 3, like the end of his 3rd season, I'm getting you a Will Campbell jersey.
Oh, God.
Number 66, man.
Can you get it in kid size so I can give it to my son? Because I ain't wearing
Safe.
that. I'm not wearing it.
He got a Mac Jones jersey, right? Didn't he do that?
He did. And my daughter now has a Drake Maye jersey.
Good. All right. She did
So
right.
I would rock. Here's who I would rock currently: Drake Maye, Gonzo. The end.
I'd
right
rock.
now, currently.
Respect the game. I'd rock a Will Campbell jersey. A good line. A Will Campbell back. Throwback,
Not
the red
wearing a lineman.
AFL jerseys.
Not wearing a lineman.
I would rock one of those.
I'm not wearing a lineman.
I'd rock one of those.
I mean, you would. You love all these positions. You love offensive linemen. You'd rock a kicker, wouldn't you? Would you wear a Vinatieri jersey? Tell the truth.
Yeah, Vinatieri, he's the GOAT. He's the greatest kicker of all time. No doubt about it.
No debate. I ain't wearing a kicker jersey.
First jersey I ever owned, Corey Dillon. Fact on that one.
Oh, that's nice.
Now here's Andrew Whitworth on what he's seen in Mike Vrabel's offensive lineman, how he sees that pouring over onto Will Campbell.
Look at some of the similarities with Vrabel and who he is and what he's been around with Matt Light and different guys. And then also Taylor Lewan in Tennessee, like a guy who was nasty and loved to get after it and talk crap. And you know, he wanted to play nasty physical football. And I think that's what he sees in Will is somebody that, hey, man, this guy's going to embrace a style. He's going to not just be a player for us. It's not going to be, hey, I'm going to go out here and I'm just trying to create a name for myself and I'm just trying to be a brand or an image or whatever. This dude wants to play football and he wants to get after it. And I think he sees a guy that he can really say, hey, can this dude be a bell cow? Can he be the leader, the driver of the bus, if you will, of that offensive line of, hey, he's built the right way to where, listen, you don't have to be the vet to be the guy that sets the tone on an offensive line. Sometimes it is the young guy who comes in and's got a little effort to him and just says, hey, man, I'm going to be nasty and physical, and you guys are going to have my back. And I think that's a good thing. That's what I was as a young player in Cincinnati. So, I mean, I see Will with an opportunity to go set the tone there and really say, hey, I may not be the vet in this O-line room, but you better believe this is our identity and who we're going to be while I'm here.
It's a leadership.
That's right.
There's been not polarizing, but guys with presence that Mike Vrabel's coach on the offensive line. He's had every step of the way. He didn't draft Taylor Lewan, but he gave him an extension. Brought in Peter Skoronski. He's one of the foundational pieces on that Titans offensive line. That's what Will Campbell is. That's what Will Campbell is.
Yep.
He's an extension of the head coach, and he's built in his vision. Now, here's Andrew Whitworth talking about Will Campbell succeeding at which position?
Yeah, I think sometimes when you get into that stuff, it's about playing analytics, if you will, with body types. And so people start to say, hey, you know, let's just try to, you know, increase the percentages that were right. I mean, to me, really, sometimes some of these people with that stuff, it just shows me how little they effing know about the position and how much they really are just guessing at who's a good lineman and who's not. And so to me, it's about your ability to be assigned a task and find a way to get that task done. And then you made up of the kind of stuff it takes to down in and down out play consistent football at a really high level. Maybe you have short arms, figure it out. I was a high cut guy. I would look like a basketball player from really, you know, waist down as far as thin, long legs. Like you're not supposed to be able to anchor and be able to sit down on bull rushes and those kind of things. But I was able to figure it out. Right. And so I was able to find what's my style going to be? How am I going to play? When people say, hey, you know, you didn't punch as much, you caught people out. Yeah, because I knew what my detriments were. I knew what my weaknesses were. And so for me, it was about maintaining leverage and body position and balance throughout the block. And what's the best possible way I can be in those positions all the time? Getting on guys quickly, eliminating some of those opportunities. So for Will, it's going to be the same thing, man. Do you have a relentless passion to figure out the way it is that you can play your absolute best? Because the joke of it all to me is like when you talk about offensive line play and you talk about techniques and all this, go look across the league. All 32 left tackles get in positions completely different. They're standing in their stance completely different. They use their hands, their body differently. But at certain points, like I always relate it to a golf swing, there's certain points of the block, they all look the same. The really good ones. And they get in certain positions at the point of contact, at the point of, you know, when they're touching somebody or they're trying to execute a block. Maybe those things look identical. And so that's really where it is everyone can look different. Everyone can have different body types. But how do you get your job done? And what do you have to figure it out? He's going to have to develop his toolbox. And his toolbox, Aaron Cromer, my offensive line coach with the Rams for a while, used to call it your toolbox. What are the different tools you have when you face somebody and you go, you know what, today that's not going to work? All right, so
Mhm.
I'm going to have to switch it up. Maybe today's the day I'm jumping somebody. Maybe today's the day I'm really violent with my hands. Maybe today's the day I'm patient with my hands. Like, what is your ability to figure that out, develop the toolbox, and then be relentlessly passion pursuit of, hey, I'm going to be the best I can possibly be in my position, and I will take no for, never take no for an answer. And so I think Will has built that way. And I think that's why
Mhm.
they drafted him there to be there. It's
Yeah.
because he is built the way to say, I will figure it out, man. I mean, when I
Yep.
got to the NFL, I remember when I went through the draft evals, like I couldn't really kick set. I wasn't a guy, I didn't naturally play offensive line growing up. I was a triple option guy in high school, so I was playing tight end and then some tackle my senior year. And so it was all layout forward stuff. We never kicked
Mhm.
backwards ever. I never took a pass
Mhm.
set. Right. So in college coming out, that's what I couldn't do. And that was the detriment. It's like some people are like, man, he's got to learn how to kick set. And I never was a great kick setter in my career. And even when I was, it was because of thousands of hours of sitting out there trying to figure it out myself, not when we practiced on my own. And Will is built like that to go chase it that way. And I think that's what I would hold a lot of confidence in his ability to play
Mhm.
well. Obviously, you got to stay healthy, but I think he's built to go chase it. And if I can find an offensive lineman that's got the right shit in his neck and he's built to go chase it, I'm
Yeah.
excited with the potential we have of him being a good football player.
I mean, I love it, and
Yeah.
but that's why Will Campbell is drafted. And that was the thing you got with the character. It does eventually have to get to the point, though. Yeah, we know he has the right mental makeup.
Yes.
That's Andrew Whitworth. I understand he's saying he doesn't have the ideal measurables, especially how his base is built. He talked about balance, keeping his center of gravity. It's all about mirroring edge rushers. The countless hours of work, like working on his kick set when he's going back into a pass pro, he had to make that adjustment. Kudos to him. That's a guy that's 6'7", 330 with 34+ inch arms and a really long wingspan. We know where it is the issue for Will Campbell. It's not the mentals.
That's right.
And you could have the mental makeup. I'm sure Peter Skronsky had it. Joe Tooney. And if Will Campbell becomes a Joe Tooney 2.0, that's fine.
Yeah.
That's an all-pro guard, which you need to build a great offensive line. Guard play, center, all five is so important. He's going to build that mental makeup and establishing the offensive line room. I get it. I love everything Andrew Whitworth pointed out. Not worried about the mental makeup. I'm still worried about the wingspan.
Yeah, agreed. But what I took from Witt there, even though you gave Witt's measurables, which are, it sounds like he was made in a lab, he also told you he was light in the arse. He was light in the hind parts.
Small base.
And he had to work on that. So his point was he had some deficiencies as well physically. Listen, it does go back to the mentals, though, George, because let's think about this. I mean, with Will Campbell, we sat there on draft night. We watched this kid, our first time really dissecting and divulging sound bites from him. We had talked about him as a player. We had heard interviews with him. But that was our first time really diving in. What's he saying? How's he saying it? And this kid checks every box. I mean, team-wise, culture building-wise, everything. Mentally, I'm talking about the Southern drawl, the intensity, the toughness. You're not going to mess with my quarterback. Like, all that stuff does matter. And what I took from what Witt was saying is, despite the physical deficiencies, where this kid is special, where he is strongest, his greatest strength is the mental.
Yeah.
And that is why, even if it does not work at left tackle, which it could, no one's writing him off.
Yep.
But if it doesn't and he slides the guard, he's going to be just fine. He's going to have a long, prosperous career. That's what I took from it, is the mental is the most important thing. He needs to work and overcome the physical deficiencies, but the mental is what will ensure that this kid has a long, prosperous career.
You could have all the God-given ability.
That's right.
If you don't got the mental makeup, you're not going to make it. The league's way too difficult.
Boom.
Talking about what he could become in his career, here's Andrew Whitworth on the career projections he could see for Will Campbell.
You want to draft guys that, one, either, if you're going to live in a world of taking shots, then they've got to have a lot of talent. But the most important thing to me, if I'm drafting up there and I'm drafting an offensive lineman, is I want to draft guys that, one, have talent, but two, probably maybe B1B, have this demeanor to them that they want to go chase success. Like they are thirsty to figure out what it means to be the best at their craft. And they that may come out sometimes through pride, some confidence in some guys. It may come out as a humble quietness that, like, man, just being around the guy, you can feel they got a little like, hey, I want to go prove myself to people in them.
Mm-hmm.
But you find that in them. Do they have that in them? That to me is one of the biggest things, because I don't care about talent talent if it doesn't have that ability to go chase success. And so I think Will has that. And so when I say, all right, 10, 15 years from now, when I look back on this draft, I think the only thing I can control when I say I think Will Campbell's a great pick, I think the guy's got talent, he's got ability, he's got the right character, and he's got chase it to him. He's tough as shit. And so I'll look back right now and I can say with 100% confidence, this dude will lay it out, and whatever his potential is, he's going to go get. If that's Pro Bowls, if that's all pros, if that's leading his team to playoffs, being a part of the reason his offensive line is successful and they become a name of a group that does it the right way. I think they got a quarterback there in Drake Maye who's going to be a really special football player. So they've got the ability there at the position you want to have the ability to go do something special with. I think when you look back, you'll say, hey, man, this is the kind of dude we want to bring in the building. And we can't control the uncontrollables, but he's made of the right stuff. And I have a feeling he'll maximize what his potential is.
It's all just checks all the boxes.
Yeah.
But the tough part to bring myself to, and I get it because that's the stuff you can't see. So it's good to hear someone like him, a guy that won a Super Bowl, 3-time All-Pro, Andrew
knows
Whitworth,
what he's doing.
Right?
Great broadcaster, too.
Great broadcaster. And he wouldn't say this about Will if it wasn't true, about the mental toughness, his work ethic, everything like that. The stuff I can't see, like, you can keep selling me on that. Eventually, I got to see what makes him succeed. Sure. Now, the stuff we can't see is why he's going to succeed in the NFL. And that's where the Patriots have to make their decision. Left tackle or guard. That's what it boils down to. But if he can hold it down for a year, if he could be average, Trav, I'm talking literally 15th best left tackle in the NFL.
Which is better than what they had.
Win.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. I mean,
you're preaching.
If he's the 31st best offensive lineman or left tackle in the NFL, that's better than what they had, right?
Yes.
But if he can be average, then I might even be, all right, how long can you keep this up? Let's see. Get a great guard next to him. But that's what it can go into.
Yeah.
I love the mental makeup. I love everything about Will Campbell. Eventually, the tape don't lie. We got to see what we can see for him to be at left tackle. He'll be great no matter what, though. He'll work out at guard.
Let's zoom out a little.
Okay.
Because you said a lot there, but I think it feels like a run-on sentence. Let's bring some structure to this, because I think we agree. Short term, stopgap, left tackle. Short term, George. Long term, likely guard where he can dominate. Big picture, decade-plus career.
Yes.
Versatility and the right mentality for all of it.
Bingo.
A guy that could in spot starts, he can hold tackle down for you. Likely all-pro guard, but the mentality to do, what do you need? Center? I got you. Yep. Whatever you need, right?
Okay, so we see right guard. I've never played there. Cool, let's try it out.
We see this the same way.
Yeah.
We see this in our industry, George. Our esteemed producer, Ethan, is a walking example of this. Ethan, behind the scenes, okay, producer. He can hop on camera. He does that too. Master control. I mean, this guy, he's in ops. He can do everything. What don't you do? He's going to have a long career. It's the same in football. It's the same. All these industries are very similar. Sure, you can come in as a specialist. No problem. Steph Curry was a great shooter when he got to the NBA. When did he become great? When he learned a little bit of everything. Yeah. And he's well-rounded. But what is he still? The greatest shooter of all time. Like, you can have a calling card here, but your versatility and your attitude is what keeps you around, and you can have a long, prosperous career. I think there's a lesson in this. Will Campbell is going to be here on this line, regardless of where, for a decade plus, barring injury. That matters, George.
And that's what, no matter what, keeps you around the league, too.
That's what I'm saying.
Mekhi Becton
longevity
didn't find success until he went to his second team.
That's right.
Jets, hey, you're going to play guard. No, I'm entitled to keep going to left tackle.
That's right.
Mekhi, you stink. You can't play tackle. We're putting you at guard. No, I'm entitled. And that's the difference between guys that buy into the role, change it. Larry Fitzgerald, one of the greatest wide receivers of all time. Towards the end, it's like, yeah, put me in the slot. That's cool.
It didn't matter.
I'll do what the quarterbacks give me.
Yeah.
That's right. Good. But that's what makes Will Campbell great. So as much as I go, you can't just continue to sell me on the mental makeup. It's what goes back to it. If he does average at left tackle, other guys will say, no, keep me at left tackle. I want to keep playing. Hey, Will, this guy's a left tackle. We're going to bump you into guard. We're going to have the best left side in the NFL.
No problem.
All right, got you.
Yep.
I'll still live and die for Drake Maye. That's what he's going to say.
Live and die.
The mental makeup, don't got to sell me on that with Will Campbell.
Live and die.
That is just like, talk about heater in the moment. like first time on the big stage, what are you going to say? Nothing better than that. I will fight and dive to protect him.
I believe him.
Talking about Drake. Yeah.
I believe every syllable.
2 things I would love to do with Will Campbell: fish and drink beer. Listen to his stories.
You can keep the fish. I'll drink beer with him, though.
I love casting. Notice I didn't say fishing. I cast.
All right.
I just let it sit.
All right.
Peace and quiet. If you're enjoying the show, be sure to check out Nesson's Daily Sports Podcast. Boston has entered the chat. We talk about all of the trending sports news in Boston and around the country. Available on Amazon, Apple, Spotify, Twitch, YouTube, and wherever else you get your podcasts. All right, let's get to the mailbag. We got first one from our guy, Adam Saldana.
Oh.
There we go. 4081. Vidarian Lowe had long arms. How did he do? Yes.
I mean, right. But what are we talking about here?
Yeah, we're talking Vidarian Lowe with outrageously long arms. Real quick. Oh, 6th round pick. Like, the draft says who you are to an extent.
Are we rooting against Will Campbell? Is this what we're doing now?
It's
fans?
more making the point we're getting caught up where he needs longer arms, but it's like, obviously, longer arms isn't the answer for a Vidarian Lowe. Yeah, we know that. In a way, his arms are so long, and he doesn't know how to use them properly. When they get chopped down, he can't recover.
He's better than Lowe.
There's a talent, there's the athleticism, but there's a matter of getting around.
Yes, he's a better player. What are we talking about here? Why are we comparing these two? He's a better. Will Campbell's a better player.
35 and 3/8 inch arms. Okay, that's Vidarian Lowe. Stick with me for a second, T.
I mean, honestly, we know the measurables don't measure up, but guess who's a better football player? Will Campbell. Like, what are we talking about?
Will Campbell wingspan 77 3/8. I'll do this every time. Tristan Wirfs wingspan 80 and 2/8 inch with 34 inch arms. Trent Williams 34 and a quarter inch arms. Rashawn Slater 33 inch arms. Oh, it's not long arms. 80 and an 1/8 inch wingspan. Kelvin Banks 33 and a half inch arms. 84 and 3/8 inch wingspan. Penei Sewell 34 and a quarter inch arm. 80 and 7/8 wingspan. Almost 81 inches. Now, Joe Tooney, sub 33 arms, 79 inch wingspan. Kicked into guard. But made spot starts and helped the Chiefs out and held it down and left tackle.
Yes, he did.
For a time.
Yeah.
Peter Skoronski, 32 and a quarter inch arms. Wingspan, 79 and a half inch. Mm-hmm. Gray Zabel, tackle in college, 32 inch arms, 77 and a half inch wingspan. 77 and a half. That's a longer wingspan than Will Campbell. Long arms allows you to hit the guy first. Long wingspan makes you hard to get around. And the thing with Will Campbell and where the shorter wingspan can show up, and we've seen it in the SEC when guys start to beat him outside on the outside shoulder.
Yeah.
He cheats outside. The kick slide comes quicker. They cross his face, beat him inside. And when you have a long wingspan, it allows you more time to recover. Andrew Whitworth talking about gravity, center of gravity, finding his balance, recovery. That's what the NFL and playing offensive tackle, being on the lineman, being an offensive lineman on an island is all about buying your quarterback 3 seconds, maybe 3.5. It's mirroring edge rushers and slowing them down. It's not stopping them. It's buying time. Tougher to buy time with the shorter wingspan. That's it. I think I'm good on arm length.
I also think there's no rule that states or law that states you can't draft a left tackle next season in the draft that may be a more natural fit. Like,
Breaking
I don't
news.
understand why we're so caught up in his arms are too short, he can't do this. Okay, well, he's going to have a chance to show that he can or he can't. And then even if he can, you still may draft a tackle in next year's draft that can come in and play the position and you move him to guard. There's no law that says you can't do that. I don't understand why we're so caught up in this. Leading up to the draft, I get it. Measurables and blah, blah, blah. Now he's here. Relax. Like, what are we doing? Really?
There are no laws that prevent you from double dipping and tackle back-to-back drafts.
I think they should.
Color me shocked.
I think they should.
If there's a guy there, maybe they swing and trade for him.
Take him.
Colton Miller's still out there.
Well, yes, but that's a different topic. I'm just saying in terms of this comment.
I get you. Yes.
It's like, well, bro, okay, then if you're right and his arms are too short, get a tackle next draft. Like
he's more of saying that his arms are long. How has he done? He's stunk. It's like, yeah,
he's a better player than Lowe.
Yes. There's a reason one guy was the 4th overall pick.
Right.
And there's a reason the other guy was a 6th rounder. And Vidarian Lowe's done well to carve out himself a career in the NFL.
Peeps.
Jacob Hughes, 90-10. The issue isn't just that his arms are short.
This is long.
It showed up on tape. He got beat inside and struggled with longer rushers often because he didn't have the length. Watch the South Carolina tape. It's not just a lack of arm length. It's also that it showed up on tape in college against good rushers, and now he'll be playing those guys every down, every week. Yes, I agree, Jacob. He's going to be a guard because he's a good kid. Everyone is defending him, but they drafted him for everything other than him being a left tackle because they know he's a career guard. and we'll be taking a left tackle in the first round again next year. And if that wasn't true, they wouldn't have been trying to trade the pick.
I mean, fine. What again?
Jacob's
What's
kind
the
of agreeing
problem?
with you here, Trev.
No, but what's the problem? There's a problem here. This comment, there's an underlying, like, his points, like, very, like, oh, well, see, well, next year we got to, so what? Okay, he plays left tackle this season. George just told you he thinks at best he could be average here. Fine. And then you draft a left tackle next draft, and then you move the kid to guard. What do you care? I mean, what difference does it make? If he's here a decade plus playing on the offensive line at a high level, who gives a rat's patootie if in a year or two from now he's not a left tackle? You're going to look back and be like, we shouldn't have taken him fourth. No, because he's going to be making all pros as a guard. Just relax. Have a sandwich.
I think Jacob's good. I don't think he's hangry.
I don't know.
I
There's
think
some
he's
underlying.
I don't want to misconstrue that. I'm a big phone call, FaceTime over text guy because of this. I'm backing my guy Jacob here, and I think he's actually responding because the video he commented on was a Whitworth interview of going, look, man, it's not just arms are short. The tape shows it. So Jacob, in a way, is on the side of the Foxborough Rush show. You hear me out on this? Jacob Hughes, leave another comment. Trav's just pent up at the dummies.
I just want to talk receivers, corners, and running backs and quarterbacks.
All right.
When is the offensive line talk over? What point of the offseason do we get to that?
I have no idea, my friend.
Oh, God.
DJ VT5GR. No shame in being a Pro Bowl left guard. If Campbell could be Joe Tooney 2.0, yes, DJ. It's worth the pick. Yes. It just wasn't the greatest pool of prospects for Pat's needs this year. Yes. If Armand Memba was left tackle, he would be a Patriot. Yeah. But Will Campbell is the best offensive lineman for the worst offensive line. Last one quick. Keys, 6556. Not a Pats fan, but I think building the trenches on offense for your franchise quarterback of the future is about the best pick you can make.
Thank you, Keys.
Thanks, Keys. Appreciate that comment.
Yes.
Appreciate all the comments, folks. Appreciate you, Travis. Appreciate our producer, Ethan. Let's give a shout out to the director, Greg, as well. Appreciate all you guys for always listening in and tuning in and watching Foxborough Rush. Give us a thumbs up, subscribe, leave a comment on the YouTube videos, please. We love it for the mailbag. We'd love it to include you guys in the continued convos. Travis Thomas, George Balekji, Foxborough Rush. We'll see you guys next time.